kid is the 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 main man here double H half or trying to stay alive. So I thought, you know what, guys, let's just talk some movies. Let's it's been a while since we've done this movie stream because remember, Tuesdays and Wednesdays is Champions League. So because it's the international break, what is a better time than to just do it like a nice, good old fashioned, laid back movie stream? And in this movie stream, what are we going to be doing, man? Well, we're going to be having fun, man. So our topics are greatest war movies. What is the greatest war movie? And then touch upon Netflix because I watched a really good Netflix film last night. And also talk about Scorsese because it was Scorsese's birthday, like I think a few days ago. So yeah, man. So straight off the bat, I want us to, because I was thinking, I wanted to do a top 10. And the top 10 with Machine will return, just that we've been very busy. Machine has been busy. I've been busy, hence why it's been a bit hard for us to really lock down a good time for us to do a top 10. But the top 10 is going to return because I know how much you guys love that Balingi. So, you see, let's even get straight down to it. So, guys, if you're in here, remember to drop a like, remember to subscribe, and feel free to send in any questions. I want this to be interactive. I don't want this just to be me just talking and talking. I want this to be interactive. So I will be looking at your live comments as I'm talking. So feel free to send in comments. If you want to support the channel, feel free to send in super chats. I will be fully interacting with you. So please, 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 let this not be a one-way street, man. So put in your comments and your thoughts in there and I will react to them. So without further ado, man, let's ride with this whole thing, man. So war movies, man. You see, when we talk about war films, we need to sort of define what makes a great war film. Is it how you depict the actuality of war? Is it the psychology of war? The philosophy of war? Is the message you're trying to put across? What are you actually saying? What is your commentary? Because I don't think it's as easy as people think, because a lot of people have put out a name, and I may agree with you, but I think the answer to what is the greatest war movie is a little bit more complex. I mean, to start off with this, I think let's start off with this one because I don't want to go with an obvious one. I want to start off with this one first because I want to go through some of the best war films and talk a little bit about them, and then really discuss and say why these films are seen to be amongst the very best. So let me open up with this one right now, then I'll see whether you guys recognize this. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up with some and see how well you recognize some of these ones that I give. So the first one now is this. Who recognizes this film? Let me see the first guy to get it. So from this up here, who recognizes this film? Yo, man, Infinity, man, if you want to jump in on this, man, tell me, man. If you're available, if you want to jump in on this, tell me, and then I'll give you the link, Infinity. So who recognizes what war film is this? I want to see the first person to get this in there. Nope. So does nobody know what this is? On the second try, there we go. Apocalypse Now. So Apocalypse Now, I think many people cite this as one of the great war films. And you see, what Apocalypse Now does is very different from what other war films do, because the beauty of Apocalypse Now isn't about how it depicts what is happening during the war. Because really, Apocalypse Now, because again, I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it because I hate doing spoilers. Apocalypse Now is about the psychology of war and what war does to you and how war can make you go crazy. So really, it is centering on how the war can affect the human mind. So this isn't about what is it like to be in war. So the battles in here are not really that elaborate. I mean, there is one amazing scene that takes place at night, which is beautiful to watch in terms of visually. But Coppola isn't focusing on, okay, now I want to depict war. It's about a soldier trying to find another soldier who has gone mad. So a soldier in Vietnam has gone in there, has been embroiled with the world of Vietnam, and it has completely made him crazy and mad. And this soldier has now been sent to try to understand what has happened to him. So this is different. So what this says about war is very different, because I think, for me, Marlon Brando's performance in this, I mean, Martin Sheen is amazing in this. And obviously this is Martin Sheen, so like Martin Sheen is superb in this. And I think because Martin Sheen, he carries the entire film. Because Marlon Brando is not in the film for that long. Really, Martin Sheen is, you literally follow Martin Sheen for the entirety of the film. So he's in like 98% of the whole film. So how he carries the film is crazy. And also, Martin Sheen was actually going through some issues, some personal issues, really, during the shooting of the film. So he had to also deal with that, as well as because it was a very tough shoot that they had to do it in the jungle, man. So, Lawrence Fishburne was in it. Yeah, this was Lawrence Fishburne's first film. His first ever film was this. I think he was 17. And he said that, it was one of his crazy experiences of his life. So this was his first film. So yeah, so what Apocalypse Now does, a few other films have done, but it focuses on the psychology of war. And I think a lot of people just think, oh no, you go in, you fire a weapon and then you go away. But then people forget about PTSD, and PTSD is something that many people still suffer from. And which is why they say that, you never ever stop fighting. So even if you leave the battlefield, you're still fighting your inner demons within yourself. And that is what Apocalypse Now showed, is that you seeing so many dead bodies, fearing for your life every single time, seeing people close to you die, gets maimed, gets cut to pieces, that is going to affect you. And that's going to affect you in a way that's you will not even know how to be removed from that. And I think that the way that Coppola shows that is amazing. But my God, guys, Marlon Brando's performance in this is one of the most ridiculous acting performances in the world. I mean, of course, everybody else is amazing. But when Brando comes in and he does what he does, like the way in which he sells that PTSD thing is absolutely insane. And another one is saying, and this is one that not many people would actually mention. Because when people talk about top war films, not many people will actually mention this. But this one needs to also be put in the category. And I think you'd be like, wait a minute, why is this here? So I think everybody knows what this is. I don't think I need to sort of everybody knows. No, I mean, everyone knows this. Of course, this is, of course, Rambo. And people say, wait a minute, why would you put Rambo in any conversation for greatest war movies? Because Rambo 1 deals with the same thing that Apocalypse Now does. Now, I love the Rambo series. So I love Rambo 2 and Rambo 3. But even I would admit that my favorite is Rambo 2. The best film is this film, Rambo 1. And this movie does an amazing job with dealing with PTSD. You see, Apocalypse Now deals with the effects of war during wartime. But this deals with the effects of war several years after the war is done. And Stallone is, like, his performance in these films is amazing. But specifically in this film, when you just see how he is struggling to operate and to still live in the regular world, and how how hard he finds himself to really sort of reacclimatize himself with what it means to be a kind of civilized person, Rambo does an amazing job of doing it, man. So yeah, for me, see, this movie is PTSD. This Rambo 1 is a PTSD movie, and see, this is the thing here. Is because of who Stallone is. This was always supposed to be one film. The whole point of this, what was supposed to happen Obviously, because there's several films, he was supposed to die at the end of the film. That was what's supposed to happen. Like, what's supposed to happen? We're supposed to go all through crazy stuff. He goes mad, he goes crazy, and then he then kills himself. That is what, and then it was about this is about PTSD and about how people suffer from this and end up killing themselves. But Stallone wanted to, like Rocky, he wanted to make this like a franchise. So he kept him alive, and then he then obviously made a Rambo 2, Rambo 3, Rambo 4, Rambo 5, and now it's pretty much just become like an action movie. So it's a sort of delineated and deviated from what it was. So you see, Rambo 2, 3, 4, 5, they are action films. This is a PTSD film. This is a PTSD war film. But CJ, see, have you seen Rambo? See, whenever you say Rambo, I think I know, I understand how people have the reactions, but that reaction is for the sequels. You cannot deny that Rambo 1 is a very good film. That is a very good war film. I think when people say Rambo, because the most popular film the popular films have been Rambo 2 and Rambo 3. Those are the most popular films. Rambo 1 was not that big. It didn't make it that big in the box office. When you think of Rambo, you think of Rambo 2. People forget about this film, and people forget about just how good this film was because of the popularity of Part 2. And you see, another one I want to also bring out as well is now this is another crazy one. Because I want to just show you, like, before we go to the heavy hitters, like some of the ones that you may have not seen. All right, let me try and actually get a good poster in here for you so you guys can see this. There we go. So now I don't think you guys would have seen this, and this was actually recommended me by a guy from a video store. This is Hamburger Hill, and this is again obviously most war films, it's obviously based on a real actual event. This is one of the most brutal and most violent war films you'll ever see. So just in terms of the utter brutality, Hamburger Hill is absolutely 100% brutal. So if you're able to get through this, because, and the crazy thing that whenever you see these films is obviously you admire the filmmaking, but then you then say to yourself, this stuff actually happened. People actually had to go through this stuff, and you just say to that how, and my whole thing in my mind is that I always say to myself that how do you even get yourself in the mindset of being a soldier, and how do you even not even rationalize it, how do you even sort of somewhat try to stay sane? Hence why it is impossible for you to come out of a hellhole known as war and still survive and still say, what's up, man? So that's my thing, man. So Hamburger Hill is another big one. I wonder if I think of another good one. You see, some people mention Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge is a very good film. Because I think the beauty about Hacksaw Ridge is, again, it's coming at it from a whole different angle. It's about a conscientious object. It's about a medic who is a pacifist. So this is Andrew Garfield. So he is a pacifist, and then he then says to himself, you know what? Even if I am a pacifist and so forth, I still want to still be involved in the war because I still want to help my fellow brothers in arms in war. And then he decides, without a weapon, this guy decides to go out and save dudes. And I think that's already a great story. Again, it's not really about the war in and of itself or what war does to you. It's about, okay, a guy says that I do not believe in war. I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in killing people. But every single army or so forth, they need a medic. You need people to heal people. So you know what I'll do? I will go out there and I will heal people without a gun. Just the madness to do that, to go out on a battlefield unarmed, not being able to defend yourself and to just go around healing people, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. And look, you see, I always say, look, Mel Gibson, as I said again, the guy's a bit wild. Racist, sexist, mad, whatever he is. But at the end of the day, you cannot deny this guy is an incredible filmmaker. Because I watched this film on the plane. because again, as I look back and say Mel Gibson film, I've just got to watch it based on how good he is. And especially when you just see how he uses the camera to follow Andrew Garfield through the minefield of war, you're like you again just admire just how crazy and how amazing of a director he is. And also, it also reminds you how good of an actor Andrew Garfield is. But again, it's like so. This, like a Hacksaw Ridge, it puts itself in a whole different category because it's telling a whole different kind of story. So we've looked at ones that are telling the story of psychology in the war, looking at ones of the after effects of war, of PTSD, and we're looking at ones of people who aren't even soldiers and what to do, and how effective and helpful can non-soldiers be in a war, like Homeboy, like this man. So now, if we're not dealing with greatest war movie, you have to look at what is the criteria that we use. What is the criteria that we use? And it's a tough one. It's a tough one, man. Because my favorite war film, I'll show you what my favorite war film is, and then we can then maybe go from there. This is my personal favorite war film, just based on the filmmaking of it. Let me pull it up for you guys. This is my favorite war film. So, boom. Do you guys know this? Let me see. First to tell me what this film is, man. First guy. Do you know what this film is, man? Let me see. This is the first guy to tell me what this film is. You should know because this is one of the top war movies. Let me see the first guy to tell me what this film is. First dude to tell me, because see, for me, this has been for a long time my top 4. There we go. I like that. Platoon. So Platoon is done by Oliver Stone, and Oliver Stone is a Vietnam vet, and using his personal experience, he obviously puts his own experiences and personal experiences of being in war in Charlie Sheen. And for me, I've always said that, Emilio Estevez should have always had Charlie Sheen's career. Maybe because he didn't change his name, because Emilio Estevez was always the superior actor to Charlie Sheen. Always was. But it is what it is. Because Emilio Estevez in this role, film is automatically better. Charlie Sheen is passable, he's serviceable, but he was never the great actor. I think Charlie Sheen is better in comedies than dramas. But apart from an amazing performance by Tom Berenger, an amazing performance by Willem Dafoe, what made Platoon so good is the kind of story it's telling. It's telling a particular story. And it's about the loss of innocence. Because one of the best scenes in Platoon, basically, one of the best scenes in Platoon is, again, I don't want to ruin it for guys, so it's when you see him land for the first time, Charlie Sheen, and then you now see them take the bodies of, so they take the dead bodies and the injured bodies of people who've been through. So Charlie Sheen's character is like, oh my gosh, you've been given a little peek into what things could actually happen, man. So you're like, oh shit, damn, this is what could really happen to me. And I just think that when you just look at what Charlie Sheen was to begin with and what he was at the end, because to begin with, he was all for the war, ready, America, go, hyped up, really patriotic. Then when he now goes into the confusion, politics, like the political side of the war, how there's so much gray area. It isn't good guys versus bad guys. You don't even know who the bad guys are. Guys going crazy. By the end of it, the guy you saw at the beginning is a totally different guy that you see at the end, because he now sees that this isn't glorious, this isn't victorious, this isn't patriotic. This is complex, because obviously the Vietnam War was a very complex war. It was really an unjust war, a war that America should have never been in, and they eventually lost. So, and also as well, I think because I'm big on music, the way the music was used in this, because I think the famous song is Adagio for strings in this was superb. The music was superb. So for me personally, Platoon is one of my personal favorites. Now, now this, I've talked about this before, and I want to give my thoughts on this as well. Because this one is a confusing one. So here we go. So I think all of you guys know this from your boy Kubrick. And many people cite this as the greatest war film. But I've got to disagree, man. I have to disagree. You see, Full Metal Jackets are two films. There are two films. One film is superb. And I wish they had carried on that story in the first film. The second one is, like pretty good, like pretty standard. I wanted to see that first half of the film. There we go. So, yeah. First half is that's what you call outstanding filmmaking. And shout out to Vincent D'Onofrio. I think this might have been one of his first performances. Vincent D'Onofrio is obviously the soldier who goes mad. Because, again, what this showed was the indoctrination of the soldier. The breaking down of the individual to the component. Removing your individuality, removing your characteristic, and making you part of the system. Because, again, the only way that that's actually that was funny. Half Metal Jackets, man. Yeah, give me half of it, man. So that's my thing. Is like, the first half was such an amazing representation of how a soldier is created, how a Marine is created, because a regular guy from the road can't be in an army. You can't, because there's a particular psychology you have to be a soldier, of following orders, doing things the right way, and having excessive discipline. And that is what was shown in this, And obviously, Vincent D'Onofrio was obviously a guy who was obviously struggling with trying to understand what it meant to be a soldier. Because obviously, it was really Matthew Modine was really the start of it. So it was really Matthew Modine and Vincent D'Onofrio who were sort of working with each other in that phase of the film. But the issue was, like, the second half is still good. The second half is still a good film, but it was so different. And you see, the second half of the film is, for me, like a standard war film. I was like, okay, yeah, I've seen this before. It's still good, but I've seen this before. The first half, I've not seen that before. And that seemed very different. And I so wish that had been the entire film. That the entire film was, forget about representing the war, like, how is a soldier made? And who comes through, who doesn't come through? And just have a deep dive and an investigation into the psyche of the soldier. So because it was 2.5, I was like, I don't really know. So it brings us to this one here. And there are a few more to talk about, but like, let me just. So I think everyone can almost remember when they first saw this film. I remember, like, I was in school, and I think Dolly showed us the intro because I think they were starting World War II, and they just wanted to show us like a bit of like a tidbit. So they showed us the intro. I don't think that there has been an intro that has fucked me over more the way that the intro for Saving Private Ryan did. Like, it was so frightening that I was like, Jesus, Lord in heaven. And Spielberg always said that. I think Spielberg said that. He said he felt that he had a duty and a responsibility to make it as realistic as possible. So he put that pressure upon himself that, know what? The pressure on myself is that I have to make it seem like this is how it was during wartime. And for me, Nothing will ever give you the feeling of what it was to be like in water. Nothing will ever give you, because once you're there, you're there. But the reason why I like Saving Private Ryan is it doesn't sugarcoat war. It doesn't romanticize it. It doesn't make it cool. It doesn't make it hip. Like, it's not like one of these ads for the US. Oh, come on, join the US Army. Be patriotic now. You be an army man. No, it's like, no, this is what war is like. This is what it feels like to be in a war. And that's the stuff I saw on that beach. I was like, Lord in heaven. Lord in heaven. I was like, what do you do? Because whenever I watch films, I just, especially when the films are very well made, I imagine myself in that situation of like, so if you're on that beach, like, what the hell do you do? You're having a machine guns coming at you, firing around you straight away. Guys are being dismembered from all around. It's like, it's like, that's just horrific. And also, I think I might be right in saying this, is that this was the first major film to use the handheld technique. So the technique that you see used in the Bourne films, Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Identity, and all that kind of stuff, this was one of the first films to really popularize the whole handheld technique and so forth. So which is why, and that's added to the authenticity and the feeling of confusion of the stuff on that beach. And also, again, but Saving Private Ryan, it has a story. So the beauty about Saving Private Ryan is that it does have a story. And the kind of theme is, we're fighting a war. Why the hell are 5 of us going to risk our lives for the life of one person? Which is the issue that they all had. But then Tom Hanks then explained to them that this guy's mother gave, 5 sons to the war. 4 of them are dead. This is her only son. And they say, you know what? It would be ridiculous that she gave 4 or 5 sons to the war and they were all gone. So this is a mission worth fighting for and worth risking our lives for. Because for them, they're like, wait a minute. So we are going on a mission to save one dude rather than a mission to pretty much help our brothers and everything. And that was the whole thing of them trying to understand the morality, the ethics, and the validity of going on this particular mission to save this one dude based on the sacrifice that the dude's mother had made. So, but I just think, again, Tom Sizemore was amazing. Barry Pepper was amazing. I think this was one of the first few films that we saw Vin Diesel in. And yeah, man, it's what, because all of the films are amazing. Apocalypse Now, Hacksaw Ridge, Platoon. But the beauty about this film is the way in which it's depicted war and how realistic it did was. So for me, I just think that, for me, I still say, if I had to pick one, because it's very hard, but if I had to pick one, you have to say Saving Private Ryan. Because no other war film has affected me the way that Saving Private Ryan did. So for that reason, you have to pretty much look at it as, yeah, man, this is one of those top films. So some other ones which you mentioned, I think, what's it called? I see a lot of people talk about 1917. 1917 is flipping amazing. Watching that in the cinema, that is... See, 1917 as a film, it's all right, But the directing in that film is insane. What Sam Mendes does, because Sam Mendes is American Beauty, he did Jarhead, he did Skyfall. Sam Mendes is an amazing director, very underrated, I believe. But what your boy Mendes did in that film was ridiculous. Because remember, even if it's not really one take, but the fact that it felt it felt like it was one continuous take is what makes it amazing unique, because you now follow these two dudes on their trajectory and on their journey through this crazy, crazy moment in time, man. So yo, what up, man? Anna man from Twitch, man. What up? So yeah, man. So other ones. See, I haven't seen Enemy at the gates. I haven't seen any Enemy at the gates though. Fury. I thought Fury was decent. I think that's the David Ayer film. Fury was decent. But I didn't think it was that amazing. It was pretty good, very well directed, but for me it didn't really leave a lasting impression upon me. And also as well, I've never been a fan of Brad Pitt as a director. I've never really been a fan of Brad Pitt as a director. Yeah, Zulu. Zulu is cool. Zulu is cool. I remember I watched that in school. Zulu is cool, but again, would I put Zulu as one of the very best? No. I think really the big part of Zulu is obviously the battle between obviously the English and the Zulu warriors. And of course, that's obviously with Michael Caine. But yeah, I think for me, Zulu was never one that really sort of really grabbed me. I'm like, okay, wow. So I was like, okay, yeah, he died, man, he died. What other ones do you say, man? Braveheart. I wouldn't call Braveheart a war movie. Braveheart is a historical drama. It's not talking about war. It's about history. It's about the political dynamics of Scotland and England. And focusing on, gosh, I've even forgotten the guy's name. I have a statue of him because I got it from Edinburgh. But it's talking about the character that Mel Gibson plays. So it's really about that character. Freedom! Braveheart is a amazing film. Superb, amazing film. But I wouldn't call it a war film because it's not really having a commentary on war. So for me, I don't really call it a war movie. Inglourious Bastards. I wouldn't class it as a war film. It's yeah, I wouldn't call that as a Inglourious Bastards for me is it takes place at war, but I don't really call it a war movie per se. See, that's a difficult one. I think it's like a hybrid. It's a hybrid of war and comedy with a bit of drama, because it isn't, because for me a war movie is something that is focusing primarily on war and making a commentary on war or depicting war, but its focus is on the dynamics of war. Inglourious Bastards, it's a lot of moving pieces about this character here, this groups of characters, then trying to sneak guys through. So yeah, it's I wouldn't consider it a pure war movie. I think it is a mixture of two. It's a hybrid. The Five Bloods, yes. You see, the thing about the Five Bloods is that I think the beauty about that is so the beauty about that is what's his name again? Why have I forgotten his name? Oh man, the guy, I don't know why I've actually forgotten this guy's name. The Five Bloods. Delroy Lindo. Like, for me, I liked it. It was a good film. I think it was real good. But Delroy Lindo's performance in that film is incredible. And for me, that has to be one of the best depictions. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you got it from me, Delroy Lindo. That has to be one of the best depictions of PTSD I've ever seen. 100%. The way that Delroy Lindo depicted PTSD was incredible. Because I already knew he was an amazing actor. But this is definitely, like, I'm so happy that whenever you see amazing actors who never get their shine, whenever they are given their shine and they're given that platform to show through and they show through, it's always amazing to see. But like just for Delroy Lindo's performance, because the film is on Netflix. I may do it as a movie watch, but just for Delroy Lindo's performance, it is worth watching because it is an absolutely incredible, superb, amazing, outstanding performance. Superb, man. Superb. You know. So yeah, so that's it, man. So I think, look, man, it's I will still stick with Saving Private Ryan, man. I will still stick with Saving Private Ryan as being that dude of the war films, but it's like it depends what you're looking for. There are many people that say Full Metal Jacket because of that first half. People will say Platoon because of the focus on characters. People will say Apocalypse Now because of the psychology and Brando and Matucci's performance. But what I will say though is I don't think there's any war film that will affect you more than Saving Private Ryan. Nothing more. But now, if you now want to say like the best performances in a war film, I think you have to look at Delroy Lindo in The Five Bloods, Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now, and Vincent D'Onofrio in Full Metal Jacket. I think those are, for me, are like the three standard performances in war movies now. So I want to touch on Netflix now. I want to touch a bit more on Netflix. So the world has changed. And I think that we're going to be seeing more and more online movies now. And it's so funny because like I go into Amazon Prime and there's so much good stuff there. Like the amounts of films that they've now put on Prime because they know that people are at home is amazing. And I think that we are going to be seeing more and more top films roll through in onto Netflix. So this is a film that I watched on Netflix recently, which was it's called 40-Year-Old Version. And I was like, because I kept on hearing about it, and I was like, because I was like, it was late at night, I couldn't really sleep. I was like, okay, let me just find the film. And it's always hard for me just to click on a film, but once I click on the film, I sort of get into it, unless it's trash. I was like, okay, no, let me watch this, man. And as I watched this, I was like, oh, wow. This is a really good film. Like a really good film. But the thing about this is that this story, with this character and this content, I don't know how many studios would go out and release it. And that is the beauty of Netflix, is because they have so much money and so many guys are on Netflix and so forth, that means that they are now more and more willing to bring in and allow more and more people to buy and get into their films like this, because like this is a film where, oh wow, like it's a very unique kind of film. Like it's very funny. Like I don't want to spoil it for you. Just go watch it. 40-Year-Old Version. Just go watch it. But it's just a very funny film. Really, really funny. Like there are times whenever I have to laugh out loud and I have to rewind, that means you're doing something very good as a film. So I just think that, and maybe almost my question for you guys is that, do you think that with COVID and the pandemic, do you think that most films or most filmmakers will go through Netflix or Amazon Prime to make their films? Because we've been seeing it slowly happen. But with COVID, the pandemic, guys not be able to release stuff out on cinema. Like you just mentioned The Five Bloods. The Five Bloods, Spike Lee, he went through Netflix. And next month, David Fincher is bringing out his film with Gary Oldman, Mank, which is coming out on Netflix as well. So do you think that more and more of these films are now going to be released on Netflix? Because I think that because Netflix are more open, because they have a lot more money, I think that these guys are going to really be Netflix are going to be a major player in the movie industry, because times are changing, and if you can't change, you're going to be screwed. And again, look, I told you, people know how much I rep from my boy Gary Oldman, because I think that this is their marquee release. Because remember, David Fincher launched original Netflix programmer, because remember, he directed the first episode of House of Cards, which was like Netflix's first original piece of content. So he's not coming back, and he's now doing this film Mank, which just looks crazy. It looks crazy, and for me, I can't wait, especially with your boy Gary Oldman in there. And because really, my prediction is that most of our films and our movies are going to now be released on streaming and digital. Cinema is still going to be around. It will still be there, but guys, think about it. How many people can afford to go to the cinema? How many people have a cinema near them? How many people even enjoy going to the cinema? But look at technology, how technology is improving. You can have a quality home studio, speakers, sound system, 4K TV, and you can pretty much have your own home cinema in your house. And that's what most people are going to opt for. So you are going to be seeing a lot more top tier films, because the films that Netflix used to release were maybe like about Class C or Class B. But you're now going to be seeing more and more top tier films being released now in cinemas. I think someone mentioned something about let's talk about it, man. Tenet, man. Nolan screwed up. Nolan was arrogant. Completely arrogant. You should have bit the bullet and released that film on streaming. Now, I went to go and watch it in the cinema because I'm a film merchant, but I represent 0.1% of the population who are very much into cinema and film. So I am a minority. But most people were like, frick, there's a freaking pandemic. I'm not going to a freaking cinema during a pandemic to watch flipping Tenet. Heck no. And I think Nolan, in his arrogance, was like, oh no, I'm Chris Nolan. Of course, guys are going to pay to watch my tentpole movie. When it's like, no, bro, released on streaming. Because, what's it called? Black Widow was supposed to come out. But they're holding back. Because they're now thinking that, man, we may have to do Disney Plus. Wonder Woman was supposed to come out like months ago. And now Wonder Woman are now thinking that, man, we may have to try and release this on the Warner Brothers home video thing. So what people are going to be forced to do is, how long are you going to wait? Because this pandemic, it ain't ending. And as of right now, a viable, proper option is Netflix and Prime streaming. Now, I don't know how the economics work or the money works, but 100%, you are guaranteed in this climate for your film to be watched by more people on a streaming platform than in the cinema. Because I think they said Tenet, if Tenet was released normally, that makes at least 700, 800 mil at least. But it's made 300 mil. 300 mil is pretty damn good. During the pandemic, that's still pretty damn good. But 300 mil is 300 mil. And that movie cost north of 200 mil, for sure. So they didn't make their money back. So I just think that it is a time for guys just to change things and how they screw, man. Well, they delayed Dune until So basically, Dune is coming out next December. If we are still in a pandemic this time next year, because I think, Dune is such a huge film. You see, for me, Dune is different from Tenet. Tenet is like, look, Nolan, release it on streaming. Dune is a potential game changer. And so much has been invested in that film that you wait. It is worth waiting. And a year is a long time. A year is a long freaking time. But I don't think Dune is a film in which you release on streaming. I think that's the one that I tweet for. And for me, Dune was a film that I was waiting for the most, man. That was the one that was like, you know what? No. I can't watch Dune streaming. No way. Dune is a cinema experience. Imagine if the first time you ever saw The Lord of the Rings you saw it on streaming. That would be awful. It would be completely and honestly awful, man. So, um, but it's like that's the thing is like what kind of film is there a film that would force people to come out into cinemas? I'm not sure, but Tenet wasn't it. Tenet was not the film that would get people to come out into the cinemas. Now, question for you guys: if the pandemic hit during the time, so if the pandemic hits, 2019 summer, during the time of Avengers Endgame, how much do you think it's affected? Because it was Avengers Endgame. Like, it would be affected, but how much do you think it would have affected Avengers Endgame, man? So, you see, now this, I disagree, bro. Half of invest in a home theater system. Theaters are going the way of blockbusters, sadly. My home theater is so I have a pretty big TV and I have a Dolby THX sound surround system. So I have four speakers. Basically, I'll show you my setup and everything. So I've got four speakers all in the four corners of my room and a subwoofer. My sound system. So I've got like a nice, beautiful surround sound. So my home theater, it's but for me, nothing beats. I just love the ritual of the cinema, the feel of the cinema, the surroundings of the cinema, and watching it with a whole bunch of people is amazing. Like watching Lord of the Rings with a whole bunch of people was something truly special. So theaters, no. The theater, people, most people don't go to the cinema to watch the film. They go to the cinema because it is it's an activity. So they view it as let's go watch a movie. So for me, a cinema is like going out. It's like going to the restaurants to eat. It can never go away. So even if you have the best home theater system, a couple will always want to go out. A family will always want to go out. Like it is just part of human nature that I need to go out. I need to stretch my legs. I need to go somewhere. So the restaurant will always exist. The cinema will always exist because it is an activity that couples or families or friends will always want to do. But so there is no technology that can ever replace the ritual of a cinema or of a restaurant. So cinema will always, which is why those guys are lucky. Once this pandemic goes over, doesn't matter how much you've invested in the home theater system, you'll always want to go to a cinema because the home theater system is like, okay, I don't feel like going out, let's chill. But if you're going on a date with a girl or something, or you're with your wife and you want to do an activity with your wife, the main thing is, hey, let's go bowling, let's go to the restaurant, let's go to the club, let's go to the bar, let's go to the cinema. So the cinema is always on that list of things to do with your partner or with your kids or with your family. All right. Final thing here, man. Final thing here. Let me give myself a timestamp, man. So let's talk about Martin Scorsese. Let's talk about your boy Martin Scorsese. So it was his birthday recently. And I wanted to do a vid, man, but I think this is a good time to talk about Martin Scorsese. So let me even ask for the audience, man. And I'll see a show of hands as to what people think. What do you think is Scorsese's greatest film? Or rather, his best film? That's better. What do you think Scorsese's best film is? If you had to choose. What do you think his best film is? Because, so while you guys think about what his best film is, for me, I think, Scorsese is, people say he is the filmmaker's filmmaker. The way that he makes films, the way that he uses the camera, it is stuff that you just teach in schools. Because I think like an Aronofsky is very avant-garde. And it's very hard for to teach the methods of like an Aronofsky or a Winding Refn or a Tarantino, guys that have a strong individual authorship. But for a dude like a Scorsese, man, is when you just watch his films, you're like, man, this guy, it's like if you're in a filmmaking class, he's just taking you to school in panning, camera movements, focusing on character, how to shoot dialogue, how to present a scene, how to put across a storyline of a scene, use of music, use of movement, use of several characters speaking. The way in which he just executes scenes, complex scenes, is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And when you just watch his films, you're like, man, nah. This is film. It's filmmaking 101. Filmmaking 101, and 100%, he is easily one of the greatest directors of all time. So a lot of people are saying Taxi Driver. So I'm seeing a lot of Taxi Driver, Wolf of Wall Street, Taxi Driver's Not Close, Taxi Driver. You see, which is why you guys, you need to come up and be members, because if you're a member of the channel, we do several movie watches. Movie watches. So I won't even put it out there, like, because a movie watch I want to do for the members is King of Comedy. So it's like, you see, for me, my thing is like, look, I think most people are not really movie guys. So hence why whenever I do like the movie of the week, I want to just do a movie that everyone likes and watches. But if you're a movie guy and you're really into movies, I think it would definitely be help if you joined up and become a member here. So let me just, because this for me is his most underrated film. Because it's a film that nobody really talks about. King of Comedy. This is a film that nobody ever mentioned. I hear Goodfellas, I hear Casino, obviously you hear Irishman, you hear Raging Bull, you hear Cape Fear, you hear, what's that one with, the one with Willem Dafoe, where Willem Dafoe is Jesus. Wait, what's the name of that film? Where, with Willem Dafoe and Harvey Keitel, and Harvey Keitel I think is Judas Iscariot. But you see, this film here is amazing because the reason why I like it is like it's so different. It's a comedy, but it's somewhat of like a very dark, creepy comedy. And why I like it is that, because see, people always say, "Oh no, Scorsese always does these gangster films, really dark films." Why I like this is that it is. Thank you, Last Temptation of Christ. That's the one. Last Temptation of Christ. Boom. Thank you for that. So the reason why I like this is that King of Comedy is such a departure from what you expect from Scorsese, but also it is a huge departure from what you expect of De Niro, because everyone just expects that De Niro and Scorsese, oh yeah, gangsters shooting, F-bomb this, F-bomb that, but this, it was just totally different because it's about this dude who wants to be a comedian and he goes to crazy lengths in order to be on this show and do his comedy bits as a comedian. So, and it's just really good. It's really good. And I always like when directors step outside of their comfort zone and do things that you don't expect them to do, because it really pushes them and pushes their skill, and it makes you appreciate their versatility. So, and I think that this film made me appreciate how good of a filmmaker Scorsese is, and also appreciated me just how good of an actor De Niro is. But I think, look, there are many Scorsese films that are amazing. But I think that when you look at this film, man, I think it is very hard for you to look past this movie as his best film. Taxi Driver is a masterpiece, and it's a work of art. It's an absolutely superb, amazing, incredible film. You see, for me, like when I was doing acting and everything, this is one of the films that had like a big effect on me when I was thinking of becoming an actor, because you see, this is a film where it is a perfect marriage of actor and director, because there is so much artistry in the film in terms of how he shoots New York, how he shoots De Niro, how he shoots the taxi and so forth. Putting so just how authentic and real De Niro is, because I think De Niro, peak De Niro, when this guy just honed in on a character, is like if this guy is real. So it's like if you forget that this guy is acting, it's like, oh no, this guy is real. And De Niro just was able to just make Travis Bickle such a real character that you believed actually existed. But for me, I just think Taxi Driver just for me perfectly encapsulates the effectiveness of their partnership and how well they work together. And again, for me, because really I like films that have a gray area and there's like a poetic nature to them, and and the film doesn't give you the answers here and there, because you're like, okay, it just presents the character of Travis Bickle, and you can decide whether he's a hero, he's a good guy, he's a weirdo, he's a creep, he's odd, whatsoever, but it doesn't tell you who he is. And I just think that the way that Scorsese and De Niro were able to create this character and do this character study and just showed how this character related to the world around him makes this for me like, yeah, like this film just puts itself on that level ahead of all others, man, you know. Yeah, man. Because look, Scorsese has been in some amazing films, you know, so it's always hard to pick one. Because for me, I was never really big on Goodfellas. I appreciate Goodfellas, but I was never really big on Goodfellas. I've always liked Casino, but I think Casino is sort of like a fun kind of film. But I just think in this, and also, guys, Mean Streets, because that was Mean Streets. I think it was Scorsese's first film, and it was definitely De Niro's first film. That was also really good as well. But I think this is where De Niro really announced himself as, fuck, this actor is that dude. And I think that also this is also where you saw Scorsese really establish himself as, okay, this is definitely a director to watch out for. Because I think like the filmmaking that he employs here, the filmmaking techniques that he employs here, the way that he just because see, the thing about this is this, that see, directing isn't just about visuals. You know, a massive bit of our directing is how you communicate with your actor. So the best thing about Taxi Driver is De Niro's amazing performance, which is an superb performance. Yes, you give credit to De Niro. A huge percentage should also be given to Scorsese for the performance, because for me, again, speaking from experience as an actor, you are very reliant on your director for a great performance. Because remember, as an actor, you don't know what you look like. You don't know what works. The director sees the whole entire blueprint. It's like an amazing player. An amazing player is only one player on the pitch. That amazing player is reliant on the manager to coach him and tell him where to stand, where to go, what runs to make, because the manager sees the blueprint. So the actor is just doing his own thing, and it's only a small component on this huge tapestry of the directing, the music, the sound, the other actors, and so forth. So Scorsese telling De Niro what he needed, giving De Niro different pointers and so forth, helps to contribute to him giving a top performance. Hence why De Niro's best performance without Scorsese is probably Heat. So De Niro has not given top performances without Scorsese. So which shows that it doesn't take anything away from De Niro, but De Niro definitely is reliant upon the kind of director that your boy Scorsese is, man. So guys, before I shoot out of here, man, questions, man. Send in your questions, guys. Send in your questions. I will take any questions. Send in your movie questions, man. I'll do about 20 minutes of questions and then I'll be out of here, man. Do about 20 minutes of questions and I'll be out of here, man. So send in your questions, man. Send in your questions. Send in your questions. De Niro as Travis Bickle or Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker? Um, See, I hate comparing performance like this one's better than that, this was not better than that. But what Joaquin Phoenix did in Joker was insane. It was insane. De Niro again. That is like De Niro in Thingy. That was superb in Taxi Driver, but Joaquin Phoenix took things to a Joaquin Phoenix took things to a different level in Joker. Like he took things to he went to he went to the outer reaches of emotions in there. So that was no. That was a whole different level. So I may have to lean towards your boy Joaquin Phoenix on that, man. Is Harrison Ford's best movie Blade Runner? Now, by best, do you mean the best film he was in or his best performance? Those are two different things. The best, oh gosh, Natsa, and your folding thing, relax. Natsa, look out for Saturday, man. See, the best film, the best Harrison Ford performance. That's a tough one. Because I've never really rated Harrison Ford that highly as an actor, man. So for me, I would still say it's not Blade. I think it might have to be Indiana Jones. It might have to be Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It may have to be Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think that's might have to rank as Harrison Ford's best movie. Now, my favorite is Blade Runner. That's my personal favorite because Blade Runner is one of my favorite films of all time. But the best Harrison Ford, what is the best Harrison Ford film? It's Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, 100%. Shout out, thank you for the dub, Culture. Thank you for the dub. Thank you for the dub, man. Thank you for the dub. Which 24th season is the best? Plus Torreira and Suarez out. Oh, I knew Suarez was out. I did not Torreira was out. It's going to be a funny Saturday night. I'm actually editing the preview right now. The best 24th season is, I believe personally, it's season 3. Season 2 had some of the best moments. But as an entire season from beginning to end, season 3 is the best season. Because by the time you end the day in season 3, you're like, fuck, this was a run. You're like, no, this was a run and this was wild. This was completely and utterly wild, man. Oh, you're watching that right? Oh. So Coach Norris, you've never watched 24? Oh, wow. No, bro. It depends. Trust me. It depends what episode you're on. But trust me, by the time you get to when things go crazy, trust me, bro. Trust me. Do you think the Batman reboots will be good or will it suck? I'm slightly worried. You see, Homeboy, I don't know, I've always forgotten all these names. Okay, the guy that he directed, obviously, the Planet of the Apes films, and of course he did Cloverfield, and he did an amazing job in Cloverfield. Matt Reeves. See, the thing about Matt Reeves is, if you judge from that trailer, there's some interesting things he's doing there. But at the same time, like the thing that just had me worried is the outfit. It doesn't work, and you can't have a crappy superhero outfit. Like, I'm sorry, like if the outfit is bad, it's hard. It's hard to. You can have the most amazing film if the outfit is messed up and it doesn't really fit the guy well. It's very hard for us to really do anything moving forward. I think there is more of a chance of it being good. I don't think it's going to suck. No, it will be good. Now, the question is, how good will it be? That's the question. Because I just think that Matt Reeves is a good director. He's a good filmmaker. Those Planet of the Apes films were good. It is a good cast. I mean, you have Jeffrey Wright in there, Colin Farrell in there, and Robert Pattinson is a good actor. Robert Pattinson is a good actor. He's not amazing. He's a good actor. And I think that with every director, Matt Reeves he'll want to come in and be like, no, this isn't the Nolan verse. This isn't a Chris Nolan movie. This is a Matt Reeves movie, and I hope he does do that. That's no. I want to establish this fully as a Matt Reeves movie. So the question is, how good will it be? And I just don't know, because that trailer didn't fully tell me what its take was. But I'll tell you this right now. One thing I am excited for is, for the first time ever, we are going to be seeing a Riddler in a serious film, which we never got in any of the other movies. Because shout out to Batman Forever, nah. Do you think Netflix can limit some movie directors? Martin Scorsese wanted to make The Irishman longer. Did he? For me, no. If anything, Netflix, no, for me, I don't know. I struggle to believe that is true. Netflix, I think, are like, you can do whatever the heck you want. Because remember, Netflix is like, no, you're watching this at home. You're watching the streaming, so you can do whatever the heck you want. It is those bigger studios that are like, 3.5 hours, using this crazy mocap with De Niro and Joe Pesci. No, I think I'll pass. But if you can get to DiCaprio, cool. So, yeah, man, because I strongly doubt that Netflix limits you. I think people go to Netflix because they can get films made that can't be made in the normal studio system, because Netflix are not a regular production studio. And because they're not a regular production studio, they are much more easier to, and rather much more open to bring in other new ideas and be able to say what's up. So, what rapper was the best actor? I keep on saying this. Tupac would have been an amazing actor. He was on that. People could tell that he was already on that trajectory. Because remember, Tupac was in the arts. And Tupac went to art school before he got into rap. So he was already a very arty kind of dramatic art kind of guy. But when you just look at his films and the way he was acting and just the kind of energy he had, you could tell that this guy was going to be the best actor. LL Cool J is a very good actor. LL Cool J, I'm amazed that he didn't really do more films. LL Cool J, that guy was a pretty good actor, man. I saw the first season of it. My sister has seen the whole thing. It's like my sister has basically watched all the seasons. I watched up to halfway through season 2, and I was like, not for me. Like, I mean, it's good. It is good, but I just sort of lost interest. Maybe because I just wanted just to see him as Jack Bauer in 24. But I was like, this is cool. But I just sort of, I just sort of just look back and I'm like, nah, not pour moi. All right, what else am I going to say? Which war movies do you view as propaganda? That's a funny thing. Not many war movies are propaganda. A lot of war films. See, you may not have to go way back in the day, through the 40s and the 50s, when they were trying to get guys to be in war. But I think, specifically ever since Vietnam, a lot of war movies are intentionally not trying to be like propaganda. But you might argue Rambo 2 and Rambo 3 are like propaganda, because it's selling you the idea of the American hero, of American patriotism, and the fact that one man with a red bandana and a machine gun can go in and can maim a whole army by themselves. So I think the closest thing to propaganda, I think, might be those Rambo movies. Not Rambo 1, but like Rambo 2, Rambo 3, and so forth, man. Actually, I watched Children of Men last night. I thought it was pretty good. What are your thoughts on the film and Clive Owen's performance? I've never rated Clive Owen as a actor. He's decent. He's cool. But for me, I just don't think that his emotional range is that wide. So which means it limits himself as an actor. Children of Men is a very good film. Really, really good story. A really good story and a really good film. And I think some of the sequences. Cause wait, who's the director again? It's the guy that did the Netflix film, innit? I think it's the guy that did Gravity. Alfonso Cuarón, yes. Alfonso Cuarón, who also did, and Gravity is a damn good film. No, Gravity is extremely well directed. Watching that film in the cinema is a crazy experience. I think I watched it in 3D. I think I watched Gravity in 3D with 3D glasses. Crazy movie. Yeah, I think I did. But yeah, no, I mean the directing of that. I remember just watching it and just thinking, no, the very original, imaginative story, but the directing is amazing. The directing was amazing, and just some of the sequences that the guy had in the film was like, no, like that was basically an extremely well made film, man. If you like Japanese films and haven't watched it, watch Harakiri, 1960 film, then watch the 2011 remake, Lava, from a fellow cinephile. Okay, I'll put it down, man, because I love watching international cinema. So what's this? Similar to film recommendations. Harakiri. And I don't want to even watch the remake, Harakiri, 1962. Because I don't know. Have you seen Brother with Beat Takeshi and what's the name of this guy? The guy that he was in Juice with Tupac. Like he's in all of this stuff. It's basically him. That's another pretty good film, man, with Beat Takeshi. All right, I think. Do you think some movies are better without star actors, like Uncut Gems, where it's just Adam Sandler and a bunch of randoms? You see, it depends on the kind of star. People would argue that Ben Affleck is a star. He's a crap actor. Tom Cruise is a star, but a very good actor. There are some star people who can bring it down and give you a performance and give you a character. But there are people who bring their star power and their starness into the role. Brad Pitt is another good example. If I'm making like a dramatic or a specific film, I would never cast Brad Pitt because he can't shed his starness from it. But I would cast a Tom Cruise. Because Tom Cruise, huge, big style, everything. But Tom Cruise, because of his acting ability and just his psychology, he's able to be like, aha, this is the role. I can discipline myself to hone in and give you a performance from here. So I think that is the difference. So it depends on the kind of style you have. Uncut Gems, I really liked the direction. I thought it was directed really, really well. Adam Sandler is a comedian. I credit him for trying and attempting with the role and so forth. But you can definitely tell that this isn't his bag. Like this isn't his strongest suit, which is dramatic acting. So because I did feel like it did take me out of the film a bit just seeing Adam Sandler. Because look, one of my favorite comedies is Happy Gilmore. So it was hard, man. Man. What do you think Marvel should do with Black Panther 2? Now, I've heard that they said they're going to make Letitia Wright the Black Panther character. Because one thing that they can't do is replace him. They can't do that. They cannot do that. They're in a tough situation, man. Because you can't recast. Impossible, can't do that, and people will not accept it. The only thing they can do is someone else has to take the Black Panther mantle. And I don't know. I'm not really. I don't really know how I feel about Letitia Wright's being Black Panther. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. I don't know about Letitia Wright's being Black Panther, and at the same time, you cannot recast Chadwick Boseman. You just can't. You can't. I get why you feel like, if, hey man, we have to try and move forward and try and still take this character forward. I'm not sure Chadwick Boseman would have given his blessing for the character to be recast, but just based on what that film was, what he did for the role, how he helped promote the role under duress, I can tell you for sure that Ryan Coogler would not sign off recasting, so he's out. And you cannot make a Black Panther film without Ryan Coogler. That can happen, So, I mean, I don't know, man. I have no idea what you do with Black Panther 2. Because there's going to be Black Panther 2. That's for damn sure. Because that film is the biggest money-making standalone superhero film of all time. So you damn well sure there's a part 2. But so right now, they're now thinking, what the frick do you do? You can't recast it. You cannot recast it. You can't recast it. So you're really stuck. Even if you announce a recasting, who is going to even want to step into that role, on those shoes? Some people may want to, but they'll be like, man, what this guy did? Do I just want to just come out, hey man, I'm not here to replace Chadwick. And I just don't know about Letitia Wright's being Black Panther. I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't give a damn what happens in the comments. I don't care what happens in the comments. I don't give a crap. Okay. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what you do, bro. I don't know what you do, bro. True. About the female agenda. Omar Epps, thank you. Omar Epps. Yes, that's the guy. Omar Epps. That is the dude. That is the dude. Recommendation for you guys. Okay, you know what? Let me end with a recommendation for you guys. This was recommended to me by a friend. Oh gosh, what's the name of this film? Man, my head is just, oh my gosh. I wanted to recommend you this film. What is the name of this film? Wait, so let me find out the name of this movie I want to recommend to you guys. It's a South Korean film. Oh jeez. Oh man. Yes, I know it. I found it. I now remember. So this is my recommendation for you guys. Let me try and there we go. All right. This film is crazy. It's a crazy ass movie. What the freak? Okay. Let me where are we at? There we go. Yeah, we go. The Chaser. South Korean movie. Guys, this film is bananas. Bananas. A friend recommended it to me, man. And it's just a crazy, wild ass movie, man. Crazy, wild ass movie. So if you're into it and everything, man, definitely try and you should definitely try. Oh, you should definitely try and hook this up, because yeah, this is wild. This film is completely, totally, and utterly wild, man. But yeah, and that's the thing, man. Is like, this, like, South Korea, man. These guys are making some films, because we all saw what happened with Parasite, because Parasite was amazing, man. So it was crazy. So that's one thing I want to roll with, man. So guys, look, man, that's all there for me, man. I need to go and eat. I'm actually starving a bit. So guys, man, thank you for tuning in. Remember, man, if you want to watch more films with us, more film watch alongs, think about becoming a member by clicking the join button in there, and then just go to the community tab for all of our movie showings, because we want to watch Pitch Black this week. And also one of the members recommended for us to watch Karate Kid. So we want to watch Pitch Black, Karate Kid, and the next thing will be the King of Comedy. So man, if you want to join in on the watch-alongs, think about becoming a member, support the channel, and then we'll see you in there for some nice Film Merchants watch-alongs, man. So guys, thank you for watching. Peace out. Stay true. One.